Welcome to Mask of Darkness, the first DLC for Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown is a Metroidvania-style action-adventure platforming game from Ubisoft. In this newest chapter, Mask of Darkness, you return as Sargon, a Persian warrior trapped in the nightmarish Mind Palace. This 4 to 6 hour DLC expands the story of the base game while providing new enemy types, puzzles, platforming experiences, and gameplay mechanics. Big thank you to Ubisoft and the Ubisoft Partner Program for providing us early access to the DLC. In this video, we will take a deeper look at some of the new enemies, mechanics, and platforming challenges you will face in Mask of Darkness. Navigating the Mind Palace will take everything you and Sargon have. Sargon has a handful of weapons, attacks, and movement mechanics at your disposal. These tools and skills are all essential in both defeating enemies and solving the game's complex platforming puzzles. Returning from the Lost Crown are Sargon's dual blade, bow, and chakra. The dual blade quickly cuts through many of the game's enemies. Sargon can also use ranged attacks with his bow and chakram throwable blade. Mastering Sargon's weapons is necessary to defeat enemies and activate certain platforming elements throughout the DLC. Sargon's aerial dash mechanic, the Rush of Simurgh, allows you to run through the air for a short distance. This power is essential in solving the game's aerial platforming puzzles by allowing Sargon to move forward without touching the ground. Sargon also has a powerful ability called the Shadow of Simurgh. This power allows Sargon to create a crystallized shadow form. He can then teleport back to the location where the shadow was formed. I often found myself calling this power Crystal Form due to its crystal-like appearance. The shadow can be used as a safe return point while progressing through the game's complex platforming areas. Many times I was forced to jump Sargon into areas that would otherwise have killed him, only to teleport back to my shadow at the last second. Many areas require that you master this back and forth mechanic in order to clear their challenges. Mask of Darkness also adds new platforming elements that will challenge your platforming skills to the limit. The new columns start as basic obstacles, but quickly evolve into more complex platforming elements later in the DLC. Simple columns allow Sargon to grab hold of them and rotate to the other side. More complex columns are sometimes very small, requiring precision jumps to grab a hold of them. There are also magical columns that can be activated to raise and lower when Sargon rotates around them. These moving columns, sometimes raised or lowered into other obstacles that could damage Sargon. Many times in the DLC, Sargon's shadow form would need to be left hanging on or near these columns as you activated and moved them into new positions. Purple spikes line many of the walls in the platforming sections of the Mask of Darkness. Spikes, spikes, and more spikes. Touching these spikes will kill Sargon, teleporting him back to the start of the course. In addition, dying to these spikes will reset the interactable obstacles in the area. New activatable bumpers serve as a launch pad for Sargon. When hit with an attack, they throw Sargon into the air. Many times they required a series of well-timed attacks and dashes from the Rush of Simurgh to navigate through these bumper sections. The new disappearing platforms were one of the more complex elements in the DLC. When Sargon lands on these platforms, they are activated. Jumping off the platforms will cause them to disappear. These disappearing platforms combine incredibly well with other platforming elements in the DLC. Once you leave a disappearing platform, you are forced to move forward or fall to your demise. Deadly lasers are used in several ways in Mask of Darkness. Simple single laser barriers, moving lasers, rotating laser beams, and complex laser grids all block your path in DLC. Many times, crossing laser paths was achieved using the new teleportation portals. Landing in these blue orb portals will send Sargon through a beam of light to the other side. These portals can be repositioned with attacks in order to solve some of the more complicated platforming sections of the game. And when I say complicated, I mean it. One of the puzzles combining lasers and teleportation portals took me almost a week to solve. I had to capture a still image from the game and spend a week looking at it in order to solve the puzzle. While looking at this image, a light bulb turned on in my mind. The next day I returned to the puzzle and was able to solve it for one of the most satisfying gaming moments I've ever experienced. Yes! 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 Finally! Oh my goodness, you have no idea how long we spent here. I had to look at a picture of that for a week to figure it out. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. Please be a whack tree. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. I want to cry a little bit. Is that okay? Is that okay, YouTube, if I just take a second to cry? Holy cow. Damn. One of the hardest to deal with new platforming elements in Mask of Darkness is the magical saw blade. These saws form from thin air and force you to make split-second decisions before you're cut down by them. Sargon's shadow form and precision jumps were the only way to avoid these deadly blades. These blades often caught me off guard when they formed directly in front of me. Outside of the complex platforming areas, Sargon will face new enemy types in Mask of Darkness. The easiest of these new enemies is the Undead Cushion Warrior. This base level enemy is quickly dealt with using Sargon's double blade swords or bow. One of the stronger enemy types you will face is the Wrath. This shadow figure can appear from a hidden ash form and attack quickly. The Wrath has the ability to teleport while attacking Sargon. It can also take on a powered up form to deal more damage. Sargon's fast slide movement and quick attacks must be used to defeat this enemy. The Sawbird is a giant spinning fan of blades that requires a precise parry timing to deflect and destroy. New to the DLC, Sawbirds can attach to surfaces and launch surprise attacks when alerted. Missing parries with multiple Sawbirds can have deadly consequences. The Sentinel is a new large enemy that fights like a mini-boss. It has giant bladed arms and a multitude of attacks. The Sentinel can spin attack, breathe fire, and even climb onto the roof while firing lasers down at Sargon. This difficult enemy took all of Sargon's attacks and movement to defeat. The Puppet Swordmaster appears as a fallen knight being puppeteered from magical strings. Holding a sword with a chain attached, the knight was able to hit up close and with ranged attacks. He could also resist attacks from Sargon's dual blade with his shield. The Parry is a winged creature with bladed legs, capable of flying above Sargon and delivering powerful diving attacks. The Parry can also cast spells, which deal damage or slow Sargon's movements. The most challenging fights came when the DLC combined these foes together. In these fights, Sargon was forced to dodge multiple enemy attacks while dealing his own damage. Mask of Darkness, the first DLC for Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, was an incredible platforming experience. Many of the platforming sections were insanely complex, but never unfair. Even when I was stuck in certain sections, the satisfaction of completing a puzzle kept me coming back for more. I rate the game 10 out of 10 and a must-have game for platforming fans. Please use code Machineosaur in the Ubisoft shop if you plan on purchasing Mask of Darkness or any other Ubisoft titles. Purchases made using the code provide support back to our content creation. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. And if you enjoy other new video game content, you can check us out live at twitch.tv/Machineosaur. I've been Machineosaur. Thank you for watching.